I'm always hesitant to say I've figured it out. I'm glad my husband isn't sitting here like, do we have work-life balance? I don't know. But so one thing is, I mean, I'm very clear about what I want professionally and personally. I want to pursue a really fulfilling mission and to give that my all. And I want to have a great family with 4 kids and, a wonderful husband, etc. Many people spend a lot of energy on the dilemma. I've put all the energy into trying to make that work.
The happiest day of my life was, getting the phone call as I was walking to work, that we were pregnant. Like, that was an amazing moment for me. Like, I still have this sun shining, but I definitely didn't plan on having a child right in the early days of starting AppNexus. It wasn't even on my mind. I was skateboarding to work. I wasn't a responsible father. I was working all hours of the day and doing yoga every day. Now, almost 7 years later, my daughter's 6, and my life is consumed by parenting and running AppNexus. And I've made huge trade-offs, which probably don't sound very big for most people, but I no longer watch the NFL. I don't have time. I see my friends once in a while, if I'm lucky, unless they happen to work at the company. I get to yoga once a month, maybe. I don't ride a skateboard anymore. It's not safe, apparently. So there's a lot of those trade-offs.
At some kind of not particularly high point, I still remember my husband saying to me, he's like, we just have to take a long-term view. And it was something about, like, I was about to be on the road for a long time, and we've got these 3 boys under the age of, certainly under the age of 6. It was just feeling so unsustainable. And he's like, this is 3 weeks. We have to take a longer-term view. And from that moment on, I've just known, first of all, being so confident that that's his perspective. And that's the number one thing I would say to all those women out there. Marry the guy who wants to support your professional career, that's the biggest asset I have. I have no stress related to that, because Richard believes this work is important. Like, he thinks it's good for the world. He thinks it's good for our kids. We could assess that in different ways, but he thinks it's great that I'm doing what I'm doing, and he's willing to take a long-term view. So that's probably the part of what it's taken to make it work.
My daughter and I are doing a Lego project. We're doing this massive Lego thing, like this hotel, and she's so excited about it. So she drags me in her bed way too early, and she's like, we're going to do bag 5, and throws the pieces on the floor, and we just sit there and do Legos. And of course, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have this client in Norway who's supposed to call me between 7:30 and 8:30. What if he calls me while we're doing Legos? She's going to go crazy, but I have to take this phone call. It's really important. I have this email to write before work starts. We've got this hackathon. I didn't really email the team. I have 56 emails. So my mind is always on these things. And I just sort of say, no, you know what? All that can wait until she goes to school. I'm going to focus right here. I just let it all go, and we just did Legos.
Whatever time we have is such quality time, and it's such a priority for me to be fully on with them.
I think AppNexus has made me a better father in a lot of ways, because I'm making conscious choices. There's no low quality time in my life. I think that skill actually is important. I can be present in ways I never was before. It's made me far more emotionally resilient. I understand basic human motivation much better. Just watching my daughter so intensely and watching how she learns.
And I also feel that, there are so many assets that come from my pursuing this work that I can bring to my kids. And I think just the fact that I bring the learnings and perspective that I have to our family conversations and can expose them. I take some of these kids with me during their breaks and whatnot. I took my son to Kenya last year, where he spent time working in Kibera in a school for girls. How many kids experience that before they're 13? I just think their worldview is so shaped by this, and they're so supportive of my work. If I ever have a moment, which of course I do, they're like, oh, please, this is great. Go on your trip. You must, they're so supportive. So I really believe it can be made to work. I can shape my life. I can shape how I spend my time, and that's one of the advantages of being an entrepreneur.
I think it's a lot of fun for people at AppNexus. When we started, there was one employee with a family, our first 20 employees. And now we have these take your kid to work days, and it's just tons of kids. And it's sort of cool. Like we're fostering this entire community.
We've built a village around our kids. I mean, they feel so loved and supported. Like all the love doesn't have to come from two people. Maybe you can't have it all in every institution, but we've tried to build an environment within Teach for All and Teach for America where you actually can shape your life. You can have the flexibility to make it all work.